welcome to Respiratory HQ's Journey to Success podcast, the podcast specifically for RT students because you all are the future of the respiratory therapy profession, and not everything you need for success can be found in your textbooks. I'm Tonya Piehl. I'm so excited to be here to give you a little guidance and insight, a few tips, maybe a few tricks to help you be successful on your journey through respiratory therapy school. Let's get started. Welcome, everyone. I am excited to be here. It's been a minute since I've recorded a podcast, and this one's going to be a very brief podcast to kind of tell you what direction I'm going to be moving in the future with this podcast. So I'm going to talk a little bit about artificial intelligence, okay? We've all heard of AI, and if we haven't referred to it as that, think ChatGPT, okay? I don't know if you're using AI as a student in your studies. If not, I think it's definitely worth exploring. We've taught the students kind of how they can use things like ChatGPT or Claude to upload their notes into and allow it to generate quizzes so that they can see if they're proficient in at least the recall of our lecture content. But sometimes some of my best ideas as an instructor really are not my ideas at all. It's what the students come up with. So I'm fixing to share a type of artificial intelligence that one of my students introduced me to. So Darian Stevens, this is just a shout out to you to say thank you for showing me this incredible tool. But what you can actually do with this, and it's part of Google, it's called Notebook XL, is that you can upload documents and turn these documents into a podcast. So I got an email from her last week and said, I turned your lecture into a podcast. And I thought, okay, so she recorded my lecture and just kind of turned it into a podcast, and she sent me a recording, and as I was listening to it, I was like, well, this isn't me, and it wasn't me at all. And then a man's voice comes in, and it literally is a podcast, and what she did was uploaded my PowerPoints into it. And it was really phenomenal. You know, they may over-exaggerate some points just to make things a little bit more interesting, but the content that is produced is solid because it's the content from my notes. So I'm actually going to be using this. My students asked me if I would turn mine into podcast, and I said, well, sure, but I'm going to share it with everybody. So I'm sharing with you guys too. So what you're going to see me doing in the next several weeks is taking my PowerPoints that I'll be lecturing on in the upcoming weeks. Say, for example, this week with my first year students, we're going to be talking about drug aerosol therapy. So today there will be a podcast released on that. My second year students, we're doing cardiac drugs this week and kind of antihypertensive drugs or cardiovascular drugs. So 2 podcasts will be released on that. Now, if you find these beneficial to get a bird's eye view of some of the things that we're doing in my respiratory care program, feel free to listen to them. Here is my disclaimer, though, because I've had a couple of people already ask me about the ethics of it. Did I produce the podcast? No, I did not. But the work that went into it is my original work because it's my PowerPoint, okay? I'm just using an AI tool to generate a podcast that's an easy listening, very brief overview of the subject. As far as the ethics of it, I'm not making you listen to it. If you find it beneficial, use it. If you think there's an ethical problem, please don't use it. I'm also not charging anybody. It's absolutely free, and I'm being very upfront that it's generated by AI. So take it for what it is. I hope you find it helpful, but that's kind of the direction I'm going to be going probably for the next few months, is putting out content via the podcast. So I hope you find it beneficial. I hope you use it. Study hard, do good. Talk to you soon.